Most people understand in a general sense that exercise is good for the brain. The connection between physical activity and cognitive health has been part of mainstream health messaging for years, and the evidence behind it is well established. But a new study has put a specific and striking number on exactly how much regular exercise changes the brain's biological age, and the finding is concrete enough to shift the conversation from vague encouragement to a clear, quantified case for action. Scientists found that people who exercised consistently for 1 year had brains that were measurably younger than when they started, while people who did not exercise at all had brains that aged beyond their chronological years during the same period. The gap between the two groups amounted to nearly a full year of brain aging, produced by an exercise protocol that required no more than the standard physical activity guidelines that most health organizations already recommend. The research was conducted by scientists at the Advent Health Research Institute and published in the Journal of Sport and Health Science. Lead study author Lu Wan, a research neuroscience data scientist, and senior author Kirk Erickson, director of translational neuroscience at Advent Health Research Institute, led the team that analyzed brain MRI scans before and after the year-long trial to measure changes in biological brain age across participants who exercised regularly versus those who did not. The study design and what the numbers actually mean. The trial involved 130 participants, ranging in age from 26 to 58 years, a range that deliberately included people in what researchers consider midlife, a period increasingly recognized as critical for establishing the brain health trajectory that carries into later decades. Participants who were assigned to exercise broke their weekly workouts into 2 60-minute cardio sessions conducted in the researchers' lab, along with a 30-minute home workout, totaling 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous aerobic activity per week. This is precisely the amount of weekly physical activity that the CDC and multiple other major health organizations currently recommend for adults. When researchers reviewed brain MRI scans taken before and after the year-long study period, the differences between the groups were visible and measurable. The brains of people who exercised consistently were 0.6 years younger at the end of the year than they had been at the start, representing a reversal of biological brain aging relative to their chronological age. The brains of people who did not exercise were 0.35 years older by the end of the same period. When these two numbers are combined, the total difference in brain aging trajectory between the exercise group and the sedentary group amounted to just under 1 year. Wan acknowledged that these absolute changes are modest in isolation. A difference of 0.6 years in biological brain age does not sound dramatic on its own, but the significance of the finding becomes clearer when projected across decades rather than evaluated as a single year's outcome. Erickson put the longer-term implication directly. Each additional year of brain age is associated with meaningful differences in later life health, and nudging the brain in a younger direction in midlife could be very important. If exercise can slow biological brain aging before major problems appear, it may delay or reduce the risk of cognitive decline and dementia in the decades that follow. This framing matters because dementia and age-related cognitive decline are progressive conditions that develop over long time periods. The neurological changes associated with Alzheimer's disease, for example, begin accumulating in the brain years or even decades before any symptoms become apparent. Interventions that slow the rate of biological brain aging during midlife are therefore not just maintaining current cognitive function, but potentially pushing back the timeline at which the brain reaches the threshold where decline becomes clinically detectable. A consistent difference of nearly 1 year per year of exercise, maintained over 20 or 30 years of adulthood, could translate into a meaningful delay in the onset of cognitive impairment. The unexpected finding about mechanisms. One of the most scientifically interesting aspects of this study is what the researchers did not find when they looked for explanations of how exercise was producing the brain age reversal. The team examined several of the most commonly proposed pathways through which exercise is thought to benefit the brain, including improvements in cardiovascular fitness, changes in body composition, reductions in blood pressure, and changes in a protein called BDNF, which promotes the formation of new neural connections and is frequently cited as a key mechanism in exercise's brain benefits. None of these factors statistically explain the reversal in brain aging observed in the exercise group. Exercise improved overall fitness among participants who worked out, but fitness improvement alone did not account for the brain age effect. Blood pressure changes and body composition changes similarly failed to explain the finding in statistical terms. Juan described this as a genuine surprise. The research team expected improvements in fitness or blood pressure to account for the effect, but they did not. This suggests that exercise may be producing its brain age benefits through additional mechanisms that the study was not designed to capture, potentially including subtle changes in brain structure, reductions in neuroinflammation, improvements in vascular health at the microscopic level, or molecular changes not measured in the trial. This finding does not diminish the practical value of the study's main result. The brain age benefit from regular exercise was real and measurable, regardless of whether the mechanism explaining it has been fully identified. But it does suggest that the biological story of how exercise protects the brain is more complex than current models account for, and that further research into these unmeasured pathways may reveal additional dimensions of exercise's cognitive benefits. Why midlife is the critical window? The age range of participants in this study, 26 to 58 years, was chosen deliberately to focus on people in midlife and early middle age, and the researchers' emphasis on this population reflects a growing understanding in neuroscience that the decades before obvious cognitive symptoms appear are actually the most important period for brain health intervention. Erickson framed this directly in response to the question that people most commonly ask about brain protection. His answer was that the findings support following current exercise guidelines of 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous aerobic activity as a means of keeping the brain biologically younger, even in midlife. The specific mention of midlife is significant because it addresses the widespread assumption that brain health interventions are primarily relevant for older adults who are already showing signs of decline. The evidence increasingly suggests that this assumption is wrong. The biological processes underlying age-related cognitive decline begin in midlife, not in old age, and the habits established in the 30s, 40s, and 50s shape the brain's resilience or vulnerability going into the decades when cognitive decline most commonly becomes apparent. A 40-year-old who establishes a consistent exercise habit is not just maintaining current brain health, but investing in a biological trajectory that extends into their 70s and 80s. The practical implication for people who have been sedentary for much of their adult life is also addressed by the study's design. The fact that participants ranged in age from 26 to 58 and that the brain age reversal was observed across this range suggests that it is not too late to begin benefiting from exercise even after years of physical inactivity. The brain appears to respond to the initiation of regular aerobic exercise with measurable biological changes regardless of when that exercise begins, which means that starting now, at whatever age and fitness level, has genuine value for brain health over the long term. The exercise protocol that produced these results was not extreme or demanding. 2 moderately paced 60-minute cardio sessions per week at a supervised facility and 1 30-minute session at home is a routine that most adults could realistically establish and maintain. The study's message is both specific and accessible. 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous aerobic activity per week, consistently maintained over time, produces a measurable difference in how quickly the brain ages. The gap between exercising and not exercising, measured in brain years, is close enough to 1 year to make the choice feel consequential in a way that general encouragement to stay active rarely does.